I like it. What about the fiscal area? I mean, you talked a little bit of wanting to do that. How would you fiscally
Yeah.
deal with that?
Well, so, this is kind of my area of expertise a little bit more so because, we help sell businesses. So we do merger and acquisitions transactions. We help larger companies buy smaller ones, smaller companies be bought from bigger ones. And so understanding the capital markets, what happens with fiscal policy and how that relates to the Fed doing monetary policy is something we pay attention to all the time. So right now, our country is really broken. We're $32 trillion in debt. I never thought I would see this day, but we just saw Republicans, celebrating on the Hill because we approved a debt ceiling raise of $4 trillion more in debt for the next 2 years. Now we're going to be $36 trillion. And so what this means is we're on a run rate in the next 8 years. We're on track to be $60 trillion in debt in 8 or 9 years. We're doubling it every 10 years. So what this means to us personally is that we have a deficit of about $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion every year, meaning, that's the equivalent of, say, the average household, maybe 80 grand a year, but they're spending 110,000 a year every year for 30 years. And now they want a new house, they want a new car. And we're like, hey, you can't afford this. And this is where our country is. We're spending 25% more than we're bringing in every year for 30 years. And the only way for us to make the interest payments, so right now, interest payments on this debt is about 8% of our total budget going out, and we don't have the money for it. So we have to print money, roll the printing presses to make that interest payment. And so this is now a snowballing effect on our whole economy. And what you saw about 90 days ago with those 3 bank failures, that could be the canary in the coal mine of what happens in the future, because when the Fed tries to control inflation by raising rates, what that does is it devalues all the bank's assets and treasuries. And so when it went up that fast from 0 to 5% or whatever it was, now all the T-bills they have are worth about 80%. So if there's a run on the bank, they can't supply the need, and boom, that's when the government steps in. So we end up creating a very faulty situation. And I really feel this way. Our generation, I'm 55 now. If we don't solve this crisis, so what I would do is I would have to look in the camera, talk to the American people about how important us to be solvent financially it means to our children's future. When I got out of college, I was able to get an apartment and a car. Kids today can't afford to do that. Apartment in Dallas, Texas is $2,000 for a 1-bedroom. Car payments are an all-time high. Kids are going out of college. They're going home to live with their parents now. Do you have friends that do that? I mean, they're kids, or they're getting 3 to 4 roommates with a 2-bedroom. So it's not what even college students wanted. And so we just have to communicate that it's time for us to tighten the belt. This is our sacrifice. The greatest generation actually gave up their lives for our freedom. The least we can do is sacrifice part of our budget and get it set up for our kids the right way. And that's what I'm going to communicate to America.
Yeah, I think right now the climate of our country, I think there's a lot of focus on kids right now, so I think that could penetrate some people's minds if you're talking about our kids' future. I mean, literally, that's what's at stake.
Absolutely. I mean, they're in, because here we are right now. This is how bad it gets. Because if we're not strong financially domestically, we're going to be really weak internationally. We're at the precipice of this right now. 20 years ago, I had a chance to go to visit China with many people from SMU and business leaders. And China they were welcoming investment. They were inviting us to partner on any kind of new things they had going on. Now they won't even return the phone call of the president of the United States of America. President Biden's been trying to get on the phone call with them for 90 days, and they haven't taken it yet. And the reason is they're trying to move on without us. So they want to replace the dollar as the world's reserve currency. They're in a much better position financially than we are. They have about 1/3 of the debt we do compared to their GDP. So they're loaning money to Brazil and Eastern Europe and Africa, and we're kind of on the sidelines right now. So if they ever make a move on Taiwan or anybody else, what's the world going to do? They're going to be in their pocketbooks. And so just from a leverage standpoint, we have to be strong here, and the world will pay attention.
Are you going to do that with our resources? I mean, they're switching the petrodollars being switched to the Chinese currency. I mean, as we speak.
I mean, the only way for us to really stop that is for us to be solvent financially.
Yeah.
So instead of loaning money to other nations, we're borrowing. So these other nations that let's say China's loaning Argentina money, and then they're saying, okay, China, if you want to buy all these these goods and services, I want you to do it in our currency instead of the U.S. dollar. So what happens is if we lose that world reserve currency status, that's going to lessen the demand for the U.S. dollar significantly. That's going to cause a very, very difficult moment for our economy, one that we're not prepared for and haven't seen in 80 years.
Hey, thanks for watching this short with us today. And if you like it, check out our full episodes on our channel and website. We'll put those in the links below. And as always, Scott,
Like and subscribe, or subscribe and then like, whatever order you want, really.
whatever order you like.
Yeah.
Thanks.